What is up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks so much for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this politics and BS. So I recently talked about this GoFundMe that was started to raise the funds for the fines that Trump had imposed on him in New York by Judge Cardone for the fraud in his businesses and all of the different stuff that he was fined for, right? And the fact that Cardone, Grant Cardone's wife, started this GoFundMe. Now, I have some more thoughts on it, but I wanted to share this story. This is from a story from NJ.com. And this honestly is not... It's making more sense to me now why Cardone and Grant Cardone are the ones that are doing this. And so the story title is Self-Made Millionaire Who Scolded Himself for Wasting Money is Now Giving It to Trump in GoFundMe. In a post for Yahoo, Grant Cardone once wrote that he didn't understand money when he was in his 20s and wasted it on useless things that didn't benefit me at all. So it's curious that Cardone, a 65-year-old author and entrepreneur, says he and his wife are starting a GoFundMe to help former President Donald Trump, who insists he's a billionaire, pay more than $500 million in civil judgments against him for financial fraud and defamation. In a Twitter post, Cardone wrote, "My wife started a $354 million GoFundMe account to fund the CAP's unjust judgment against Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, and Trump Organization. Give something and, in all caps, demonstrate that the people of America are standing together against unjust rulings like this where a bias judges," and this is what he wrote, so I'm reading it as he wrote it, okay? So this is his bad grammar. "Where a biased judges and corrupt legal system is out of control. Any amount is welcomed, and 100% of funds will be forwarded to Trump Org for his defense of this ridiculous judgment. Keep in mind, the banks he borrowed from were paid back and even defended his claims. If this ruling stands, everything you own is at risk." Sure. How is it that what has affected him for what he did illegally is going to put everything the people of America own at risk? Because like I stated before, him giving overinflated values for his properties to the banks, if the regular Joe Blow did that stuff, first of all, they wouldn't allow it. And if it got to the point where if it was just that somehow the bank didn't do their own due diligence in getting appraisers of their trust, because that's usually the way the banks work, if it somehow happened where the values were overinflated and a regular person did that, it would be criminal. We would not be getting by with something like that. So first and foremost, for the regular people, they don't even allow us to do that. Like, I remember it was a few months ago, I was helping my mom out with an application for her home for a cash out refinance so that she could get some things done on her home. And the value was at one point. And then the bank had their appraiser come out, and like it happens a lot, especially unfortunately with those of us who are not of the majority ethnicity, they will undervalue the property and send that appraisal to the bank. Look it up. It happens all the time. They don't even allow us to say, well, this is what the property is worth. They are going to do their due diligence and have an appraisal. And a lot of the times the appraisals are not even just and fair. Look it up. Google the lawsuits that African Americans have filed against banks and appraisal companies for undervaluing their properties, and then they get another appraisal done. They'll have a friend stand in who is of the majority ethnicity. They will take down anything from around the home that would indicate that an African American person lives there. And then the appraisal will come back higher. What, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's unjust. And that type of stuff pisses me off. And they filed lawsuits for those things, civil lawsuits. But for Trump to even be allowed to do this, I feel like the banks should be getting prosecuted too, not just him. I'm not saying that he should go scot-free, but just in my personal opinion, I don't believe that the banks should have been able to do that either. So, you know, him trying to throw the banks under the bus to say, well, they should have done their due diligence if they didn't believe that the properties are really worth what I said they are worth. I actually agree with that. But I don't believe that he should get off scot-free because they wouldn't allow anyone else to get off scot-free. So what Grant Cardone said in that tweet is BS. Because him saying, if this ruling stands, everything you own is at risk? How so? Or how they say, how sway? Anyway, to finish or complete or continue on with the story, it says, of course, a different take would be that Trump violated the law in a persistent pattern of fraud that spanned years, was found guilty and penalized. Cardone's effort appears to violate GoFundMe's terms of service, which state it doesn't permit use of the services to raise funds for the legal defense of alleged financial and violent crimes. According to the GoFundMe, which has raised roughly $500,000 as of Monday afternoon, the fact that a business owner did a loan with a bank, never defaulted nor missed a payment, pays back the loan with interest and caused no financial damage to anyone, yet the government overreaches and slaps a business owner with a $355 million ruling should terrify all business owners and entrepreneurs. Actually, though, it shouldn't, not if you're abiding by the rules of law. And I feel that one of the reasons why, and this is why I wanted to talk about this story, actually, let me finish this article. New York Attorney General Letitia James, who won the civil court battle with Trump, says his crimes were not victimless. White-collar financial fraud is not a victimless crime, she said. The powerful break the law and take more than their fair share. There are fewer resources available for working people. Everyday Americans cannot lie to a bank about in order to buy a home, which is true, which is what I was just saying. So to finish my thoughts on this, and this is why it makes me angry, because what Letitia James said is basically why I'm so pissed off about this, is the fact that the everyday people, we don't get these types of opportunities to just go to the bank, lie like this, and like they're scrutinizing everything. They want bank statements. Some of them, they want access to your bank accounts so that they can even see what's coming in and out of it. But he can just go in there, yeah, this is what, you know, my property is worth $500 billion. And then a real appraisal comes back and it says, actually, the property is worth $14 million. You know what I mean? And it's like, whoops, well, hey, that's what I thought it was. Well, you got your money, you paid it back. But there are a lot of people who have been convicted for mortgage fraud, bank fraud, everyday regular people, and I don't want to say all they did, but they did lie or inflate things on those mortgage applications. And like Letitia said, when you are able to get away with this, there are less resources for the everyday people. Now, I'm not saying that the banks are victims in that way either, because they have been taking advantage of people for years. So I'm not here to sit and champion and cheer for the bank. But the reason why I wanted to talk about this in terms of the Cardones, I get it now why they started this GoFundMe. They knew the rules, and we'll see where this goes, because GoFundMe's rules state that you cannot raise funds for, this is quotes, the legal defense of alleged financial and violent crimes. I believe the Cardones knew that. But for them, this is marketing. Everything the Cardones do is marketing. Everything. Like, I'm not on Facebook like that anymore. I still have an account, but I don't use it. But remember back in the day when you would always see those ads rolling through your feed? Grant Cardone used to have so many ads. He probably still does, but I'm talking about from years ago, him and his wife and family getting off of the private jet and all of these different things like that. He's a grifter. He has been unsuccessful a lot, but because of him being in the majority ethnicity and even being a Scientologist, which is another thing that is a complete turn off for me, yeah, he's been able to make it by and make it through. And I don't believe he's as rich as he says that he is. I believe he has a lot in common with Donald Trump. But this is marketing for him. This is to get in the good eyes of the Trumps. Yeah, he's going to vote for Trump. Yeah, he'd probably vote for Trump every time an election year rolled around and he was on the ballot. Even if he wasn't on the ballot, he'd probably still write him in because it's not just the thing about some people that vote for him because it's better for them financially than it is to vote for Biden or any Democrat or whatever. But for Cardone, it's not just about protecting his money, but it's also about the fact that he has a lot in common, in my personal opinion, with Trump in terms of the criminal mindset and the grifter. And so doing things like this, it gets the attention of Trump. So hopefully he and his wife can get an invite to Mar-a-Lago. All of this is marketing, guys. This is marketing by the Cardones. Him doing this tweet and saying how this is so unjust against the entire Trump family. He named every name: Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, the Trump Organization. All of this is marketing. All of it. Okay. So, yeah, because at first when I saw the story, I'm like, Elena Cardone? Are you freaking kidding me? At first, when I saw the headline about a GoFundMe was started for Trump to raise the funds, I actually thought that it was started by some, in my opinion, some yokel who votes for Trump just because he is Trump, but in actuality, his bottom line and his financials are not even in the tax bracket that Trump even cares about. So, you know what I mean? So that's what I assumed at first when I saw that a GoFundMe was started for him. But when I saw it was Elena Cardone, I was like, what? Seriously? And then I thought about it and I'm like, okay, I get it now. This is marketing, which is what they always do. They're always marketing, always marketing. I went to the Grant Cardone 10X. I went with a former associate several years ago. It was in Miami, Florida, because she had a ticket and she had an extra ticket and she asked me if I would go with her. So I went. I was like, okay, fine. I'll go see what it's about. It was all right. It wasn't anything to call home about, but everything was about marketing. He had parachuted or whatever it was. I think he jumped from a plane into what was it? It was some stadium that it was being held at. And forgive me, guys, I don't remember the name of it. But it was at some stadium where they play games down there. He parachuted into the stadium. He came out on the stage with his wife and family in believe it was a Rolls Royce. If it wasn't a Bentley, I believe it was a Rolls Royce. And the music was blasting, and it was Snoop Dogg's song, Drop It Like It's Hot. The music was playing. It wasn't the words. And then all of a sudden, Snoop Dogg gets out of the car, and he's rapping the lyrics to the song, and then they get out the car, and they're looking stiff and uncomfortable as they're trying to dance to the music. I'm telling you, everything is about marketing with this guy. So this GoFundMe was started because it's a marketing ploy. I believe if GoFundMe has these rules in place, that it will eventually get shut down. It's not the first GoFundMe that was started. A lot of money was raised and then it got shut down. So we'll see what comes of this, but we'll keep our eyes on it and see what happens, guys. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.